Today on Public Eye News, State Senator Mallory McMorrow announces her bid for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat. Later, the temporary closure of the Mackinac Bridge leads to a fuel shortage in the Soo.
Aubrey Huddleston will have your weather forecast for the next couple days. Later, Austin Graham will bring you today's sports breakdown. I'm Toby Camilli.
And I'm Luke Middle, and this is Public Eye News. Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow has announced that she will be campaigning a bid for the open seat for the state in the U.S. Senate. The move comes as Pete Buttigieg announced he will not be running for the Senate spot in 2028. McMorrow has separated herself from other national Democratic candidates, having previously been critical of Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. McMorrow stated that voters are, quote, tired of Democrats' gimmicks, end quote. In her time as state senator, McMorrow passed legislation on gun safety, raising wages, and ending Michigan's ban on abortion, and also became the first woman to be the Senate Majority Whip in U.S. history. McMorrow and the Democratic Party also hope to close the gap of the razor-thin majority in the Senate, with the margin currently at 53 to 47. And the Michigan Gaming Control Board has issued 2 cease and desist orders for illegal gambling activities in the state. Lucky Tiger Casino and Rich Palms Casino, both operated by Ollie Stair Solutions NV in Curacao, were found to be offering games such as slot machines, table games, and video poker to Michigan residents. The operation is in violation of the Lawful Internet Gaming Act, the Michigan Gaming Control and Revenue Act, and the Michigan Penal Code. In particular, violation of the Gaming Control and Revenue Act is punishable via a felony charge and 10 years in prison, along with a $100,000 fine. All entities will have 14 days to cease all illegal gambling activities in the state.
A fuel shortage is affecting Sault Ste. Marie after the Mackinac Bridge was closed temporarily because of the recent winter storms. The closure disrupted fuel deliveries and has left some local gas stations without fuel. The bridge reopened last night at 7 p.m. but closed again this morning. Michigan State Police said they are working with local authorities and fuel providers to address the situation. Lieutenant Ben Ekela assured residents that the situation is short-term and there are contingency plans in place for emergency services. Authorities are suggesting that residents conserve fuel and avoid unnecessary travel until the shortage is over. 2 historic northern Michigan lighthouses are set to receive a combined $106,466 in funding for preservation projects through the Michigan Lighthouse Assistance Program. The Charlevoix South Pier Lighthouse will be receiving $60,000 for repainting and cleaning its exterior. The Gull Rock Lighthouse, which is located on a remote island in Lake Superior, is getting $46,466 in funding to restore its roof, along with other parts of the lighthouse. These grants celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Michigan Lighthouse Association program, which helps to preserve Michigan's maritime heritage. And now for some election results. Republicans held on to 2 U.S. House seats in Florida yesterday. Meanwhile, a liberal judge in Wisconsin won a closely watched state Supreme Court race against a candidate backed by Elon Musk. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
A liberal victory lap in Wisconsin Supreme Court race, seen as the first major test of President Trump's second term and Elon Musk's influence.
I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world.
Projected winner Susan Crawford signaling to Musk, who poured in $25 million to support her opponent, former state attorney general Brad Schimel, holding a rally in the state and personally handing out 2 $1 million checks to voters.
Of course it drew publicity for Brad Schimel, but I think it drove Democrats out. It certainly pissed off a lot of people that I know.
Liberal megadonors also funneled millions into the race, though a fraction of Musk's spending. Crawford's win maintains the 4-3 liberal majority in Wisconsin's high court, as they're expected to take up cases related to abortion, labor rights, and redrawing congressional maps. No comment from President Trump on that race, but he did celebrate Wisconsin voters enshrining a decade-old voter ID law into the state's constitution. In Florida, Republicans picked up 2 House seats.
I had Donald Trump on my side.
Randy Fine won over Democrat Josh Weil for the spot left vacant when Mike Waltz became President Trump's national security advisor. Jimmy Petronas beat out Democrat Gabe Valament, filling the seat of former Congressman Matt Gaetz. The wins widening the slim GOP House majority as they work to pass President Trump's agenda. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with weather and statewide news after this break.
Oh my God, this is like paradise.
We as humans can learn a lot from this.
We're in a whole new era of science. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
On Katavi's plains, fortunes change in a heartbeat.
This really huge animal lived here 40 million years ago.
From the smallest thing to the biggest, their survival is so connected.
Welcome back. I'm Aubrey Huddleston, and I'll be guiding you through today's weather report. Starting off with a look at our roof cam, you can see that there's quite a bit of rain and snow falling down on the Academic Mall today, and much of the UP is experiencing similar dreary conditions, starting in Houghton, where it is snowing and 31 degrees. More snow in Ironwood at 34. Iron Mountain, a little bit different with some rain and 32 degrees. Menominee, just cloudy with a nice 35. And now looking over towards the eastern side of the UP, in Escanaba, it is 32 and rainy. Manistique, it is 31 degrees and cloudy. The snow returns in Sault Ste. Marie, where it is 28 degrees. And finally, back in Marquette, it is 32 and rainy. Now diving into our current conditions, we have winds out of the east-southeast at 20 miles per hour and a barometric pressure of 29.71 inches and falling. And looking into tonight, the rain continues. We have a low of 34 degrees, winds coming from the southeast at 11 miles per hour, and our moon phase is a waxing crescent. Looking into tomorrow, we'll have some pretty windy conditions with a high of 41, a low of 28, and winds out of the west at 22 miles per hour. And looking ahead into the weekend, partly sunny skies on Friday with a high of 45 and a low of 31. The snow does return on Saturday with a high of 39 degrees and a low of 25. And finally, on Sunday, we'll see some sun again, and we'll have a high of 36 degrees and a low of 22. And that's all for today's weather report. Back to the desk.
Thank you for that weather update, Aubrey. I'm certainly glad to see the sun pokes out at least a couple of days next week. Going now into some statewide news. A New Baltimore man has been accused with allegedly selling counterfeit auto parts. Dinas Kamaitis, 31, was arraigned in the 37th District Court in Warren. Kamaitis has been charged with 1 count of using a computer to commit a crime, 4 counts of delivery/possession of property with counterfeit identifying marks, and 4 counts of selling counterfeit supplemental restraint systems. In total, the sentence would be 9 felony counts and a 43-year sentence. Over $600,000 in bank accounts connected with Kamaitis has been seized and alleges that he was selling parts on his eBay account. The state of Michigan estimates that 81,000 vehicles in the state are equipped with counterfeit restraint systems. And Attorney General Dana Nessel has released a new consumer alert, this time on genetic testing services. Following the bankruptcy of 23andMe, one of the most popular testing services in the U.S., Attorney General Nessel urges those with accounts to delete them in order to prevent any personal data leaks. To ensure that any unauthorized use of information does not occur, account holders should take steps to ensure the deletion of said accounts, request destruction of any DNA sent, and revoke permission of any genetic data to be used. These steps can be found on most genetic testing sites for account deletion. For any users who are suspicious that their genetic information may have been compromised, or for more information, go to michigan.gov/consumer protection. And this afternoon, President Trump is set to unveil his long-awaited tariffs plan, set to take effect immediately after the announcement. U.S. stocks climbed higher ahead of the move, but some consumers are already expressing concern. CBS's Natalie Brand is at the White House with the details.
This is the beginning of Liberation Day in America.
The Trump administration has billed today as one of the most important in modern history as the president prepares to unveil his plan for reciprocal tariffs on a broad range of countries that tax U.S. goods.
We are focused on restoring the golden age of America and making America a manufacturing superpower.
While the administration has said the tariffs will generate hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue and bring jobs back to the United States, economists say it will take time.
Even if it does, that requires new factories to be built, that doesn't happen overnight.
Many experts weighing in as the White House finalizes its trade policy announcement say new tariffs will likely mean higher prices for the consumer, something everyday Americans are bracing for.
I'd like to buy American, but the fact is very few things are made exclusively in America.
Roy Rubenfeld says he recently bought a car ahead of the new 25% tariff on foreign vehicles and auto parts set to take effect Thursday.
Cars used to be a lot more simple, but now with new safety features and all of that, the parts of a car come from almost all over the world.
The White House has said the reciprocal tariffs announced today will be imposed immediately and will likely impact countries that have big trade deficits with the U.S. Government data shows China, the European Union, and Mexico are among those at the top of the list. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
We'll be right back after this short break for a sports report you won't want to miss.
Tune in to the heartbeat of the Upper Peninsula. At Public Radio 90, we're more than just a frequency on your dial. We're your trusted home for national public radio. Let our diverse blend of music be the soundtrack to your day. Public Radio 90, where community comes alive. Tune in to Sunday Nights with Dan Truckee, In the Pines from 9 to 9:30, followed by Just Folks from 9:30 to 11.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. Starting things off on the mound, the Detroit Tigers took down the Seattle Mariners 4-1. Tigers pitcher Casey Mize put on a show against the Mariners, striking out 6 hitters in his first start of the season. Additionally, Mize retired 14 consecutive batters between the first and the 6th innings. Riley Green hit a leadoff drive to left center in the 8th to lift Detroit over Seattle. This marked Green's second straight day of hitting a home run and his second homer of the 2025 campaign. The Tigers are wrapping up their series against the Mariners as we speak, as the first pitch was thrown at 4:10. Gliding over to hockey, the Detroit Red Wings lost a heartbreaker in overtime to the St. Louis Blues 2-1. Despite the loss, this was a goaltending masterclass for the Motor City as Cam Talbot backstopped the Wings to extras with 35 saves. The game saw no scoring until the third period when JT Compher put the Wings on the board off a dish from Jonathan Berggren off the rebound from Vladimir Tarasenko. In the dying moments of regulation, Jordan Kyrou scored the equalizer for the Blues. Cam Fowler scored the game winner in overtime for St. Louis, beating the Wings 2-1. Detroit now sits 4 points out of a playoff spot with only 8 games remaining in the regular season. And ending things on the court, the Detroit Pistons are set to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Pistons head into the game tonight without Isaiah Stewart, Ron Holland, or Marcus Sasser, as they've all been suspended for an altercation on Sunday with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Holland and Sasser were suspended 1 game each, while Stewart was suspended 2 games. Additionally, the Pistons are still without Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey as they still deal with their respective injuries. Detroit has a chance to break OKC's 10-game win streak, but it may be a tough task as the Thunder have only lost 5 games at home this season. The Pistons, on the other hand, are 21-17 on the road this year. Tip-off is set for 9:30. That's all I have for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for that sports update, Austin. It sure sounds like the Pistons have their work cut out for them.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a battle, but they've got a lot of grit. I hear you have another story for us, though.
That's right. 2 Northern Michigan University students and 1 alumna earned recognition at the Sigma Tau Delta Convention in Pittsburgh. Senior Aaron O'Donnell and NMU graduate Alexandria Bournonville both earned honors and awards at the event, and junior Kaylee Bootner presented her poetry.
Well, always nice to see the Cats getting represented, but now that we're halfway through the week, how have you been feeling about these ice storms, Toby?
Pretty crazy, this Michigan weather, man.
Oh yeah, and with that, we're out of time here on Public Eye News Today. I'm Luke Niddle.
And I'm Toby Camilli.
We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.